Except Raw.
I do know what to tell you. Shit happens and shit.
Shit happens and shit. We had quite the philosophical discussion on yesterday's show. I don't know what to say about it except that I got to play this drop.
He was a piece of shit.
Just an example of I saw a piece of, and I kind of figured out what it was going to be, but John Cena is still hated. He came out to thunderous boos on Raw, and the whole segment was a bitch fest. He came out, then Hunter came out, then Edge came out. They all hated each other. Hunter came out to his new King Motorhead song, but he was not wearing his Conan outfit, which saddened me. That was a moment that I shall never forget. But I can't do justice to the segment, so what I'll just basically say was everybody hates Cena, including Edge and Hunter, but Edge and Hunter agreed to team up later and take on Cena in a 2-on-1 match, and Cena, like the world's biggest jackass, said, okay.
And that's that.
That was it.
The only problem with this is that this segment was awesome.
It was a great segment.
Edge and Hunter were bitching at each other, tearing each other apart. For a brief second, I thought they'd actually managed to turn Cena face, but just by getting everyone so distracted by how great the debate between Edge and Hunter was. They were just taking shots at each other.
It was one of those deals where they just... It would have been called 3 years ago, a shoot, brother.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
No, I'm sure every line was scripted, but it was things that they would actually say as Hunter buried Edge as a curtain jerker, and Edge made fun of Hunter for dressing up like Conan.
Both guys got owned.
They did. They owned each other.
That's right. Served.
Edge pointed out how Hunter always loses at Mania. Hunter pointed out how Edge has never worked a Mania main event. Just back and forth. It was all good stuff.
There was some good comedy here, by the way.
This is a lot of great stuff. And before those two guys came out, when Cena was just in the ring, it didn't last very long, but it occurred to me at some point that I may be the biggest John Cena fan in the world.
You have to be.
I may be. I hope he never loses the belt. This poor dude, all he's ever wanted to be is a wrestler, and he works so goddamn hard at it, and he works a schedule like no one else can keep these days, and he just gets hated on and hated on and hated on, and it never breaks him. He's always... Okay, he's a little...
It has got him down.
Shaken up at the end of Mania last night, but he's still just John Cena, and I love him for it.
Well, you're a mark.
I am a mark.
Because, I mean, really, it's not his call whether he's a babyface or a heel. He has to put on the happy face.
Well,
it's not really... And he's been very upset about it in the past, in the back. I mean, he doesn't necessarily take it all in stride. It really does get to him.
Well, we've seen other champions who had pressures placed on them and the belt was taken off them.
Yes, but I don't know.
Maybe I'm giving him too much credit, but
I think you're giving him too much credit. But I mean, I'll say this: he's a very nice guy. You never hear anybody say anything negative about John Cena, and he works very hard. Although he probably does not work hard enough, because you just can't be that bad, having so many matches with so many great guys, and be a real hard worker. Unless you just are completely the most unathletic person in the entire world, which he's not.
No, he's not.
So I do have to, I am down on him somewhat for taking so long to start improving. I do think that John Cena is improving now. I do see him getting a little bit better in the ring. But there was a long, long period where he should have been getting better, and he
was
wasn't,
getting worse.
And I blame him.
Well, that's probably true. That's probably fair. You did make the comment last night at some point during Mania where you mentioned something about how there were so many guys in the show we had seen who were worse than John Cena.
There were many guys, there were many individuals on the show last night that were much worse than John Cena. Mm-hmm. I think he gets too much criticism for his stuff in the ring, because really, I mean, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm, that's true.
But, I mean, even if it did matter, he ain't the worst guy.
No.
Now, he may be the worst guy in the main event mix, sure.
Okay, yeah.
But for God's sake, he was not the worst guy on that show last night, or the worst guy on this particular show this evening. Now, with all that said, I will just agree with the announcers, although they're full of shit half the time. But people can cheer and boo for whoever they want. It's just the whole deal.
That is the point.
I don't feel bad for John Cena because he tries to be babyface and the people don't buy it. I don't feel bad for him.
Someone made the comment on our board about how the whole point of wrestling is to get people to have real emotional reactions to a fake match. And that's what John Cena does.
He gets real emotions for him. I don't know. I guess he gets real emotions for a fake match, but it really doesn't have anything to do with the match. It's all him.
Nope.
It's all him and his opponent.
And that's fine.
I will say that I would be fine with him never losing the title if the reaction stays like this.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is, it's not.
Chicago was phenomenal again tonight.
They were.
I do grant them permission to become the Chicago Wrestling Entertainment and just never leave the city.
That's right. But then you never know. It could become another Orlando. I mean, we even had poor Kyle gave up on the show tonight. He could take no more. And that's really saying something because he's a hardcore fan. But so yeah, they bantered back and forth, and God, I say it all the time, but they made Cena come off like such a geek accepting this match. I understand the idea is he's so tough, but there's a fine line between just being tough and taking on everyone and just being stupid. And he was stupid.
He was both.
Yeah. I don't know. Steve Austin never got himself into stupid positions like this.
Not that I can think of, but
I mean, Steve Austin had handicap matches and stuff like that, but this was just, I mean, this was the two heels fooled him into doing something stupid. That's a dumb babyface.
yeah, all right.
They played the "Are you scared?" card, and he's like, "Well, I'm not scared." It's like 5th grade, and he fell for it.
Well, the 5th graders are his fan base, so
That is true. No, but this was a great segment. You know, it just made Cena look like an idiot.
it was highly entertaining.
Kane and the Big Show face the Spirit Squad for the tag titles, and this was the greatest Raw moment ever until 45 minutes later. The tag titles changed hands. The new champions, Kenny and Mikey, they won after they gave all 5 of them behind the referee's back, gave Big Show I guess you could call it a whirly bird. I don't know what it is. It was the trampoline throw, you know, where you put the dude on the blanket and toss him up in the air. They should call it like the initiation into the Freemasons. That should be the...
Wow.
Anyway. But they did. They threw him up in the air. All that was missing was the blanket. He crashed and burned. They pinned him, and then Kane and Show were irate because they lost to girls. And then afterwards, Maria was so excited. She interviewed him. They jumped up and down and did one of the wackiest interviews I've ever seen. And really, it was straight out of the glory days of Ohio Valley.
Oh, yeah.
There's no other way to explain it. So
They were all very happy. They were all very excited. I was happy for them. I was excited for them. The champions are Kenny and Mikey, technically, but really, it's the Spirit Squad as a whole.
Yeah.
I expect to see all 5 of these guys doing in every match.
That's
and
fine.
I am aces with that.
I'm so happy to
That's
see the
great.
Spirit Squad getting over.
Go Spirit Squad.
RVD came out, and to make a long story short, he's going to claim his title shot at the ECW pay-per-view. It's pretty much everybody figured, but the announcers were too stupid to figure it out.
Exactly.
They're like, Extreme, does that have something to do with John Cena?
Joey, Coach, and King are the only ones who don't know what he's talking about.
That's right. Chris Masters killed a jobber in about 1 minute, and then out came Carlito, and he teased that he was going to spit the apple into Masters' face, but instead he spit it on the jobber. They hugged, held their hands up, and then Carlito jumped him from behind and hit the backcracker. And the way it was designed, I think the idea was that Masters would be the babyface. But when Carlito hit him with the move, everybody cheered. So I think they'll probably just do a deal where whichever guy gets over as a babyface, he's the babyface.
That could be the
Whichever
plan.
guy gets over as a heel is the heel, but I don't
Which,
know.
of the two, I guess I would expect Carlito to be the babyface. Just 'cause
Carlito's got to be the face because he's failed as a heel in every way.
And Chris Masters is so bland. No one's going to get behind him as a babyface anyway.
No. Imagine a Chris Masters babyface comeback.
Imagine people trying to cheer for Chris Masters. Yes, it's not
Yeah.
going to happen. And again, squash matches are a good thing. I endorse squash matches. There should be one squash match on every show.
Alrighty then. I did not come out of this squash match with that, but I'm not going to disagree with you. So then we had Shawn Michaels coming out in a very fat suit, and he talked about. I wrote something last night after I watched WrestleMania. I'm going to read it verbatim because at the time I really believed that they could not possibly be this stupid. I wrote, if I didn't know any better, I would say they killed off the Vince McMahon character. If he shows up on Raw Monday, they may kill off the Bryan Alvarez character. And I actually believe that. I thought if Vince shows up on this show, I'll kill myself. I will go right off that balcony right there, and that will be the end. He was beaten so utterly last night.
We've never seen a man beaten like this.
He should have been off TV forever, or at least for years. Instead, Sean's cutting his promo. Out came Shane McMahon, which was grating enough. And then he called out Vince.
Yes.
And I'm like...
There was a flaw in your thinking last night. Vince, no
Logic.
beating could keep Vince McMahon off TV for a week.
I should have known that. I really should have. And I was foolish. So he came out in a big neck brace with his head taped up. He really should have been in a wheelchair.
He was in a wheelchair. He should have had a black eye. He should have been... Outside of the neck brace, he seemed mostly okay.
Was it Robbie Dauber? It was Robbie Dauber who came out taped absolutely...
No, it was Tank Toland.
Tank Toland. Robbie Dauber, I think,
they may have
did
been
it
on too.
Because Robbie Dauber worked in that outfit, I believe. He was like...
I do remember that now, yes.
Wrapped up like a mummy, head to foot,
They
in
both
a wheelchair.
did it. They both did it. I remember Tank because Chad won, and Tank was celebrating, but he couldn't move, so he was just cheering on his back like a turtle.
This was about, that was about 6 months ago. The Robbie Dauber one was actually more recently, which appalls me that you've forgotten it. But yes, they should have done that. But Vince came out, and somebody held up a Vince Needs Jesus sign, which in hindsight had to have been planted, now that I look back. Vince said, actually Sean was talking about this big weight off his chest, and Vince came out and said, no, this is not over. He said this was a war. Sean last night had beaten him up while his beautiful wife was backstage, his young daughter, who is 6 months pregnant, and most of all, he'd handcuffed him to the ropes, his young son, and he'd beaten Vince McMahon, Shane's father, in front of Shane, and had scarred him for life. Mm-hmm. And Shane just had a completely blank look on his face. He was so scarred. And Vince said, it is not over. This is war. And I have 2 words for you. And Sean goes, wait, hold on a second. I got 2 words for you. And the fans screamed, suck it. Then they started chanting DX. I don't know where this is going. I think it's just something they're going with. I don't expect a DX reunion. I don't think everybody should get too excited.
No.
But Vince said his 2 words for Sean were divine intervention. He said last night he was about to tear Shawn Michaels limb from limb when suddenly God interfered. He said he was fighting 2-on-1 in a handicap match last night. It was Vince McMahon versus Shawn Michaels and the Lord.
Which may be true.
There you go again, God, Vince said.
Yes, Vince at this point, he turned away from Shawn, he turned away from the crowd, and just began to speak directly to God.
There you go again. Picking on me.
Yes.
You always were a bully, he said to God, which was the most ironic statement of the whole world. Who's that making so much noise?
There's a hot rodder outside.
I hate those fuckers. Those of you with, like, the loud motorcycles.
Knock that shit off.
I mean, seriously, write me an email and explain to me why you get off on just being so loud. It's such an invasion of my personal space. When you drive by and just rev the damn engine as loudly as humanly possible. I mean, what is it about that people... I don't get it.
It's just it's one more way human beings have found to be obnoxious.
It is. It's like, I'm going to show you. I'm just going to be loud.
It's an audio middle finger, really, is what it is.
Shut up!
That's right, Vince. Let me get back to Vince McMahon. So anyway, he said that the point was Shawn would win a battle here or there, but not the war. In fact, that was what's going to happen. Next month, there was going to be a tag team match at the pay-per-view. He said, it's going to be you and your tag team partner, the good Lord Almighty. That's right. You and God versus me, Vincent Kennedy McMahon, and the product of my semen, my son Shane. And I laughed.
Oh, we all laughed.
I shed a tear. I cried with laughter. And I thought to myself, I forgive thee, Vince.
For showing up after this meeting?
I forgive thee for showing up on this show this evening. I realize as a reverend, perhaps I should take offense to the fact that you have, in the words of Jerry Lawler, booked God. But I'm fine with it. And as he was screaming about the product of his semen, the announcers were giggling. They could not contain their mirth. They were laughing. And Joey Styles just basically was like, he's lost his mind.
Those of you who are subscribers to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, one of the awards is for best interviews. If you vote for anyone other than Vince McMahon,
How could you ever not vote for Vince?
just stop following wrestling.
If Osama wins this year over Vince McMahon,
A crime, a travesty.
I don't know what I'll do.
Vince was so great, and just like he has been so great every week on every show, just about the entire year. And he's always been great, but every week he tops himself. He's
Every
just
week-
that much greater.
Every week we praise Vince McMahon for his performances and just vilify him
For
his
himself.
for just him being Vince McMahon, which we'll get to in a moment with Chavo Guerrero.
Yeah.
But the Vince McMahon as a performer, I mean, he started out as the goofy, bow-tied announcer, and he did a fine job.
1, 2, oh, he got him. No, he didn't.
And then he sort of worked his way up to the goofball announcer that... No, I'm talking about just interviewing guys.
Okay,
before
yeah.
commentary. Then he worked his way up to the commentator. And then he sort of worked his way up to the commentator that you sort of knew was pulling the strings. Then he sort of worked his way up to the boss. And then he became...
Satan.
The greatest evil billionaire there's ever been.
Yeah.
And now he's evolved the character even farther into an evil billionaire who's slowly losing his mind.
Yes.
And I can see 2 or 3 years down the road when the character needs to be fresh, it does lose its mind. And he plays a Vince McMahon character who's just totally gone. He's not totally gone yet.
No.
He's on that fine line. And he slips over into Madman territory and he comes back. But at some point, he's just going to go over the edge. I see the evolution of this character, and it's going to be so grand.
It is. Assuming, he's around.
But he will go to hell.
There's always that.
The 9th circle of hell. And unless, of course, he finds the Lord, which this fan expected he was going to. He's going to find Jesus, which I'm sure he will at some point.
Really?
Give
if you
Vince-
think about it, you want to talk about going crazy. A lot of people who are on the verge of going crazy often do find the Lord.
Give Vince time. Before Vince McMahon dies, he will convert. I just know this.
Yeah.
He will make his peace with the Lord. I don't think it's going to do a goddamn bit of good.
He's got a lot of peace to make up.
He's got a tremendous amount of peace to make up. So, what raises a philosophical question, I'm not going to bother getting into it in this show because we've gone too long, but we'll discuss it at some point, the question of Vince's salvation. But so then we had Trish and Tori versus Mickey and Candice. Mickey has dyed her hair blonde, stolen Trish's ring gear. They're doing the clone gimmick. It saddens me. I love my blondes. You're well aware. But her blonde hair made me so sad.
You like the old Mickey?
I love the old Mickey. She was such a hot brunette, and now she's just another blonde. And she's a low-rent Trish.
Well, that's definitely true.
She was a high-rent Mickey. She's become a low-rent Trish.
That's a bad trade.
But she won this match. She just had nothing this evening now. She showed nothing this evening.
Oh. Well, what was she there's nothing to show.
She wasn't crazy.
She definitely
She didn't
not
have
crazy.
that hotness about her.
She was not that hot.
Didn't
She was
work
not a great
particularly
wrestler.
well. This was like the anti-Last Night Mickey.
Yeah. Although Chicago still loved her because they're Chicago.
No. There was a very light, let's go Mickey chant, and it died and never came back. This was not like Last Night where it started, it built, and it grew to a crescendo. This was a bunch of geeks chanting, let's go Mickey, and then they died and never came back. There were a couple cheers when she won, but it was nothing like Last Night. The anti-Mickey.
Yeah. Sorry, Brian.
That's it.
Yes.
Go on.
I'm sorry that you're crushed.
WWE.
That's about what you're at tonight, Vince.
Yeah, good.
You've become robotic on me. Why?
I don't know.
Did I mention Linda and you just absorbed her?
I don't think you mentioned her.
Yeah, he did.
When?
His beautiful wife Linda backstage
you're
watching
right,
last night.
Hey, settle down, Beavis.
What is up with you this evening? Every now
I
and
don't
then
know.
you have great shows, and all of a sudden, some nights you just break.
And
Do you have a on-off switch or something I need to wind up behind you? I don't suppose.
no.
Come on, just put your mouth by it there, Vinny.
What? Oh, the mic. Yeah. What are we talking about? Oh, Mickey.
We're talking about winding you up from behind. Let me pump you here a little bit.
That's the way I like it.
He was begging for Craig to pull his pants down and show his ass. We fucked Vince, basically. Vince was just blowing Sean. Sean, your overall thoughts?
I liked it.
Who's your daddy? Who is your daddy, Vince?
Any other road stories, perhaps of that nature? Perhaps it may have involved you.
I got one as close to homosexuality as you can get. I went, Vince, I came here for you to fuck me.
Wow.
You know what I mean? He's a big guy. I mean, you know, with a hard-on. Between me and you, we're about together the size of
That
Vince.
line always
and
kills
it was
me.
brutal, right? And
Wow.
I'm sitting there with loads of jizz in my hand.
Brutal.
That is true.
That is true.
What was that?
The road will own you.
That's right. Thank you, Buddy Wayne, for confirming that.
Yeah.
Buddy always steals the show, Vince, even when you fuck it all up. Why don't you talk a little bit about Chavo? That'll give you something to do here.
Well, Chavo came out. He came out on the ramp, and he talked about how great WrestleMania weekend was, and Eddie going to the Hall of Fame, and his friend, my family member, Rey Mysterio, winning the world title on SmackDown, and people cheered. And then he said, tonight's my night. Tonight I go for the Intercontinental title, and I dedicate this match and this win to you, Uncle Eddie. And everyone cheered, and he went down to break, and there was a commercial. And then...
And to cut to the chase, he lost.
He didn't win.
He was defeated by Shelton Benjamin.
He wrestled Shelton Benjamin.
Clean.
They had a fine little match, and Chavo missed the frog splash, and Shelton hit the exploder, and that was that.
That was the end. Mm-hmm. Go on.
Well, Chavo, of course, was upset. During Chavo's speech, there was, for the first time ever, I think, a Chavo chant, which I swear to God, for the first time in pro wrestling this has ever happened.
I have heard it before, but I can count on my thumbs the number of times I've heard it.
Very rare. And they were chanting it again this time. After the match, he was walking up to Spawn, and it was.
You know what it was?
It kept coming.
Eddie
and going.
Appreciation Night, the first Eddie tribute show when Chavo wrestled. People hadn't started chanting Eddie yet. They actually chanted Chavo during the match.
Wow.
There you go. There's
Okay.
your trivia fact for today.
Good work.
Sometimes my brain works.
Good work.
That's right.
So it was on the verge of a loud Chavo ovation.
I didn't pass the medicine test again.
Go on. That was my brain not working joke.
I see.
I thought some of our listeners would laugh at that one.
I bet you're wrong.
How dare you?
I'm just saying.
You'll know when you hear the shout-outs.
If anyone laughed at that, just let me know.
Go on.
I'll say I was wrong. Anyway, the ovation never really got a chance to get going because Chavo didn't acknowledge it. And he walked up the ramp and walked backstage, and that was that. And then they come back from commercial. And
there was drama.
There was drama. I forgot who was even interviewing him. Somebody was interviewing Chavo, and he declared he wasn't good enough. He let the family down, he let Eddie down, and he wasn't good enough, and he quit. And he walked away.
The end.
The end.
No. I don't know where this is going to lead, but it will lead nowhere good. He failed Eddie. I thought this was going to end.
No, yeah, you mean the use of Eddie. Yeah, we all did. Nope, Eddie is still a character on Raw.
I figured it will be toned down and then end at WrestleMania. What a fool.
Naive little fool you were.
They will be using Eddie forever. Until the end of time.
There will probably be an Eddie Guerrero
What are you
too
doing
someday.
your neck, by the way?
Scratching it.
I've noticed that. It's turning red. I don't know if you've noticed or not. It is inflamed.
I didn't shave today, so my neck is scratchy.
You're just going to keep itching it till it bleeds?
Yes, actually.
Okay.
And it'll bleed to death all over your carpet.
What the hell is wrong with you today? Are you going to kill yourself?
No, I'm not going to kill myself.
Jesus. So, yeah. Then we had Flair come out. Can you stop doing it, though, please? I keep looking at it, and I'm just afraid it's going to start spurting blood all over the desk.
I'm scratching it. Oh, forget it.
Go look in the mirror real quick. See how
I
red
believe
it
it's red. It's irritated, but...
Fine. Well, don't do it then. It's going to... What if, stuff comes out?
Brian.
You never know. I'm concerned for your health.
Well,
for your
great.
safety.
No, you're concerned for your carpet, let's be honest.
No. Okay, yeah, the carpet can be cleaned. How would I dispose of your body?
That's true. I'm very large.
Thank you.
You would need a swarm of locusts.
Flair, I do not need those here. Flair came out, was cutting a promo, when out came Osama.
Yes.
Osama of Ohio Valley fame, now known as...
Armando Alejandro
Estrada.
It saddens me they got rid of Rodrigo.
They got rid of Osama. That's the saddest part, actually. But he came out and he cut a promo on Ric Flair, and it was good, but it was not as great as Ohio Valley because no one knew who the hell this man was.
Yeah.
And they're like, what the hell is happening here?
Who is this man? Why is he in the ring with Ric fucking Flair?
He actually did a hell of a job, really, for his first promo.
Imagine being backstage. You're about to make your debut on Monday Night Raw, and they say, okay, Ric Flair's going to go to the ring and cut a promo, and then you go interrupt him.
Well, there were many people that said that he cut promos like Ric Flair.
He was great.
This made sense. So they did a promo back and forth, and this was a segment that started out great and went way downhill.
Oh, God, did it go downhill.
It could have been worse. I thought that Osama was going to be the man to wrestle Ric Flair. This would have been bad.
It's been very, very bad.
Because Ric Flair would have had a good match with him, and they would have assumed that Osama could work, and he would have proceeded to have 800 bad matches, and that would have been the end. But anyway, he called out instead a man he's going to manage, Fatu.
Jamal. A Samoan guy.
The man from 3 Minute Warning.
Who's not Rosie.
Rosie's brother.
Yes.
This is the man that came out. He attacked Ric Flair. His man is named Umaga.
Umaga, which I believe is...
Umaga or Umaga?
I think it was Umaga, because I remember thinking Unga Bunga was just too blatant for them.
I got Umaga out of it.
He's a Samoan. He's got the wacky face tattoos. I assume they're fake tattoos. But
Now
I
got to go to WWE.com, actually.
He's off in Sika 2K6. He's the generic Samoan, and he came out and he laid a whooping on Ric Flair, and it scared the hell out of me.
Oh, God damn
people who
it!
don't want to be good.
I hate WWE.com. Just give me the recap here.
So anyway, yes, he laid a whooping on Ric Flair, and it terrified me because Ric Flair is Ric Flair, and this is Jamal, who is stiff and scary, but I think everything worked out okay. And he laid him out with a wacky spinning neckbreaker deal, and then he went backstage, and it was over. And it's going to be Ric Flair versus Umaga, or Umaga.
Vince, I love you, but it ain't your night. Ric Flair was berated by Cuban Armando Alejandro Estrada.
Okay, I got that one right.
And attacked by a rampaging superstar called Umaga.
Fuck beans.
UMAGA. Sorry, dude.
It will always be Umaga.
Meanwhile,
in my
Shawn
heart.
Michaels tried to move on. They just segue right into that. They got the whole thing all messed up. But yeah, Umaga has debuted. He will feud with Ric Flair and be managed by Osama. That is the weirdest program ever.
Flair came out and he was cutting his promo, and he mentioned going after the world title again. And I was thinking to myself, who is there for Ric Flair to feud with? Because I don't think he's feuding with Hunter. I don't think he's feuding with Edge. Who could he possibly? And then this thing happened, and I thought, wow, that's not what I would have chosen to do with Ric Flair.
Absolutely not. Then we had the main event, Cena versus Hunter and Edge. Hunter and Edge worked together for a long time, sort of. Hunter sat on the buckles, Edge did all the work. Finally, Edge accidentally speared Hunter, so Hunter and Edge got in a big brawl. Hunter laid him out. Cena tried to do the five-knuckle shuffle on the fallen Edge and ran his ass right into a pedigree and got pinned.
Stunning.
Biggest fucking geek.
Upset.
Oh, yeah.
Shocking upset.
So Hunter got his big win. I guess it'll be Hunter and Cena again at the next pay-per-view since Hunter won and Edge got screwed. And
still sucks to be Edge.
It was a wacky show. I can't call it a great show. I can't call it a bad show. Can't even really call it a good show.
I thought the first hour was great.
It was fun in places.
And then it kind of fell off.
It was, the Vince McMahon thing, I will admit, was fantastic.
Well, I thought the opening segment was great with the three-way interview. I thought the tag team match was great for what it was. And I thought the Vince and Shawn segment was just phenomenal. And then after that, things went way downhill.
So 50% would be an F.
I suppose that's true.
But I would give it a higher grade than that. I would give this show...
Well, you can't give the last hour a 0.
I'd give this show a solid B-.
It's in the B to B- range.
That's the first time we ever given a grade for a
What
show.
should we
but
Probably
start
the last.
Yeah.
I almost think we should just start with Raw and get it over with because it was so bad.
All right.
Talk about TNA and such afterwards. It opened up with a segment which started out really great, and I really loved the segment till about minute 48. This goddamn thing just went on forever. It was Edge, Cena, and Triple H doing, I guess, just
Flapping their gums for a bit.
yelling at each other. They all hate each other. Cena was trying to explain why he was booed, why Edge was not the most watched champion. The explanation being that everybody tuned in that first week to see who beat Cena, and then the next week they tuned in to see Edge get beaten, and therefore Edge did not deserve credit for being the most watched champion of the last 5 years. It was a horrific explanation, almost certainly written by Triple H himself. And then Hunter came out and ranted about how he was respected. Hunter was not. I mean, it started out, like I said, so great, and the whole thing went 22 minutes.
Yeah. There was a lot of great stuff. The best part was Cena openly saying what a lot of people have been thinking, or are saying out loud in our boards at least, wherein the people and the fans who are booing him, what they really wanted to do is turn on them and cut the ultimate heel promo. And he teased doing it, and then he won't do it. He stopped himself short. Just carrying on.
He said, I'm not going to do that because if I did, I'd be just like you, Edge.
Yes.
And I fucking hate you, were his exact words.
I believe they were. They were bleeped, but that's a good guess.
Yeah. And it was funny because about 5 seconds earlier, they were talking about these 7-year-olds that were big fans of John Cena, and he immediately followed up with, I fucking hate you. And I thought, I hope those 7-year-olds were getting popcorn at that moment during the promo.
I'm sure they were.
But anyway, the whole 22-minute deal was merely to set up another match with all 3 men in the ring together. Last week it was, I guess, Hunter and Edge versus Cena in a, I don't know what you'd call it, just a, what would you even call it? It wasn't a handicap match. It was a handicap match, but everyone was allowed to be in the ring at the same time. A tornado match, whatever the hell you call it. This week it was all 3 in the ring in a handicap match. It was Cena and Hunter against Edge. So Edge, the heel, was supposed to be the babyface. This whole thing, I was watching it, and about 15 minutes in, before it had overstayed its welcome, I thought, look at this segment building up a 3-way. And then compared to all the segments building up the SmackDown 3-way.
Oh, God.
Completely, I mean...
Different businesses.
And by design, too, because this one is designed to get over, and the other one was designed to fail. But, by the end of this segment, I was like, well, this is starting to go downhill quickly. And, I don't know.
Well, yeah, it went too long.
But
and, the other thing you're overlooking, or at least you haven't gotten to yet, is... Hunter mentioned Hunter broke the news in the main event, and he knew what the main event was going to be because he had just gotten off the phone with the old man.
I cannot fathom them not going to the idea of Hunter married into the family. It's just too many things.
No, it's coming.
It's got to be coming. But with WWE,
perhaps by Backlash.
You just never know, though. I mean, this could be. You just never know. That's all I got to say. But you would think if there was any logic in WWE storylines, which is asking for a lot, particularly on this fucking show, that would be coming, but I guess we shall see. So, anyway, that's the big match for later on in the evening, and I should just jump forward very quickly to say when that main event was over, they're going the route of the SmackDown 3-way.
You were not intrigued in seeing
I
it?
had even less interest than ever when that damn thing was over.
Yeah.
How hard is this shit?
I apparently pretty hard.
It never used to be hard.
They've forgotten how to do it.
It was the 3-way with Benoit and Hunter and whoever the third man...
Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels.
The Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels from Texas.
I'm sorry, HBK. Was that match really that hard to build up? I don't recall it being
I don't recall
like this.
everyone involved doing multiple jobs leading up to the show. I could be mistaken. It was 2 years ago.
I remember wanting to see that match so bad. I have not had that feeling about any 3-ways recently.
What I remember about every...
This is Rochelle and...
Stop right there.
Sorry.
You and Andre? No. What I remember about that 3-way...
You are so perverted
The Benoit Michaels Hunter one was that every show for between Rumble and that one ended with those 3 guys in a stare down and everyone going crazy. And then they did Mania, and then every show on Raw ended with another stare down going up to the 3-way at Backlash, and everyone was going crazy for it all. And now the stare down is dead. Now it's have a match and someone must be pinned. That's the new booking philosophy.
It's bad.
It's horrible.
You've had a lot of questionable comments the last couple of days, Vince.
Have I?
I was speaking of 3-ways, and I brought up Maria, and I brought up Rochelle, and you threw in Andrei Arlovsky.
Well, you didn't bring up Maria. You said Rochelle, and
I said Rochelle and Maria.
You said
Andre.
Rochelle, and the first thing I thought of was Rochelle and Andre on TV.
Everyone's going to go back and listen to it and find out you're wrong. That's fine. But the other one was when Edge and Lita came out, Vince.
Well, we saw Rochelle, and we were mentioning how gorgeous Rochelle was, and then the first thing we saw on Raw was Edge and Lita come out, and my exact words were, and I'll say it again, after seeing Rochelle, Lita has fallen so far, I think I'd rather bang Edge.
I didn't get involved with the too many gay people like Pat Patterson, whatever, Steve Lombardi.
Vince Verhey. Sheik is not down with
he does not
your
respect the
lifestyle.
gays.
No, he doesn't. So, what's that noise?
Some car or truck or something.
I just hate random noises that take my
Maybe it's the greasers from Ohio Valley cruising the streets of Woodinville.
knock me out of my game.
Deuce and Domino and Cherry.
Then we had the segment was not over, by the way.
No,
There was more. Edge left. They played his music. I thought they were going to commercial, and then no, they
Hunter offered Cena a handshake, which, as you'll recall, he did last week and then faded him. So this week, Cena climbed into the ring and slapped him in the face and left.
Yeah, slapped him hard, too, and everybody booed. What a just horrible babyface John Cena is. And they're not going to turn him heel. They're just going to make him a bad babyface, I guess.
Yes,
So
that's the plan.
Rob Conway's music,
Which we didn't even get to hear.
I don't know. I watched this match. It was Rob Conway and RVD. RVD won quickly with the frog splash. My first thought was, by the time everybody listening to this show, Rob Conway's music will be cut.
Quite possible.
It's that time of year, kids. I don't know when it's coming. I don't know who's going to get it, but things may not be looking good for young Rob Conway. Afterwards, a strange man interviewed Rob Van Dam on the stage. It may have been the mystery Hispanic.
We don't know who this guy was. He showed up like 4 times in the show.
He's more of a mystery now.
He is.
He's the...
He was.
He was Hispanic, but
Okay.
I'm not sure if he's the same mystery Hispanic.
I mean,
There may be 2 of them.
A new one.
Yeah.
I think he was just the guy from Velocity.
Yeah. Shelton was doing commentary, and Shelton said he wanted a match with Rob Van Dam at the pay-per-view for the Money in the Bank shot. So they interviewed Rob Van Dam, the babyface, and his answer as a fighting babyface was no.
A quickly no, defiant no.
No, I'm not doing this, he said. And so he said if Shelton wants to fight for something, he'd put his Intercontinental title on the line. So now Shelton, the heel, is going to have to say yes.
Don't look at me. It's not my fault.
This was the beginning of the end for this show, as far as just outright absurdity. So then we had an interview with Maria and Mickie James, and Mickie made a comment about going back to Toronto. Mickey's like, you're not from Toronto. Or Maria says, you're not from Toronto. And Mickie flipped out and then calmed down and said, well, maybe I'll have my first title defense tonight against you. And Maria was overjoyed. She did not know what she was in for.
That was a fine idea.
She knew that Mickie was not from Toronto, but she didn't know enough to know she was in big trouble. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's what they did.
Yeah.
That's how it went.
This show sucks. Strange Man interviewed Kane about his movie.
Hey, look, Drummer Kane. I'm coming.
Put us into camel clutch, break our back, and then fuck our ass.
Hey, look, Drummer Kane.
It's good to want things.
That's right, I was giving Buddy Wayne fellatio. I was pleasuring him. And I bought myself a blow-up doll. I just couldn't handle the loneliness anymore.
You're not lesbian. Well, you're the one I was sex with.
Good God, you little cocksucker. I love you, Dad. I love you too, baby. You would have to break the man's back first.
You didn't have to break his back to fuck him in the ass.
Sure you do.
Hey, look, Drummer Kane.
Guns, drugs, crime, homosexuality, and that's enough.
I don't know who's responsible for that.
God.
I had never played that before. I just looked over and it said Kane in the Closet Mix. That may be the new best song we've ever had on this show.
The best part of it is King going, hey, look. As if they stopped by the hall and never mind.
Oh.
Well,
whoever made that one, congratulations. You have humbled.
We are humbled.
You humbled us both there, but that was so much better than what they did with Kane on this show.
Yes. Oh, God, yes.
Think about that. Some man for free put together that mix, and instead people paid thousands of dollars, put together this bullshit with Kane on this show. They showed the footage of Kane's movie, and it looked wacky. And when it was over, I thought, what the hell? It's my job. I may go watch this film. That was my first thought. So, all I got to say is, about 10 minutes later, that was no longer my thought. They had a match with Kane. Kane disappeared, by the way. He was not around when the Mystery Hispanic was done interviewing him, and it was like a big mystery. But as they're trying to figure out the mystery, Kane's music is playing for him to go down to the ring. And I thought, the mystery is who scripted this show and put Kane's match immediately after this segment, because if this were real life, he would not have time to talk about his movie because they're playing his fucking music. Anyway.
It gets worse.
He went down to the ring for the match.
Dude, you must go back.
What?
The hallway segment.
No, that's later, you geek.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't?
No, because Big Show, they were friendly then.
No, his music played. His music played. Just hang on for a minute.
All right, we'll go your way for a while.
His music played, and out came the Spirit Squad for the part of their match, and Kane did not come out when his music played, you see.
I see.
He was stumbling around in the back, and we could read his mind.
Well, okay. He was stumbling around in the back and holding his head, and then scary music started. Not Kane's ring music, just scary, ominous music. And then, yes, we could hear the thoughts in Kane's head. Brian and I are mind readers. All of you listening to this, you are also mind readers, or at least if you watched Raw, because you read Kane's thoughts, many of them.
We could read his mind, but Big Show could not.
Well, no, because Big Show apparently does not have the gift.
He doesn't, but we all do. This was up there with the mirror, the Ultimate Warrior in the mirror, and
Yes.
Hulk Hogan.
I was trying to think of the corniest thing, the last thing they did anywhere near this corny, and it would be Randy Orton last year with the Undertaker bit.
With the blood and
With
such?
the blood and all of that stuff, but this is at least as bad as that. With yes, we could hear his voices, and the voices kept mentioning something about May 19th, which is the date his movie opens, and how it was coming back again. So I don't know if May 19th is when he Katie Vick, or what new-fangled, convoluted plot device they will throw at us for Kane's nightmare of a history.
We just...
The worst continuity ever done is Kane, the character of Kane.
That's not what I was looking for. We actually have the drop from when Randy Orton had his deal, and I have so many drops now that I don't even know what it's called, and I can't find it, so...
Shame.
Sorry about that, kids.
That's it!
Yes, Randy Orton was hallucinating, and we also were hallucinating with him.
Yes.
So then they had a match, and I've got to say something here.
All right.
Mini matches end in DQ. I hereby ban any match from ending in a DQ that goes longer than 12 minutes.
I was going to say.
If a match is going to end in a DQ, that's fine. If it's like a 4-minute match.
Sure.
When a match goes 12 minutes on TV, and you're watching a guy get cut off for ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever, and he doesn't make the hot tag, and he just throws chairs in and they ring the bell, that is like taking precious minutes out of my life. That made me so angry. The only thing that even remotely saved this match was Mike Mondo, who was fantastic.
The screaming?
Just being Mike Mondo.
Being Mike Mondo. Oh, yeah. This match was 47 minutes long, and about 43 minutes of that was the Spirit Squad beating up Kane, and it was boring. It was very boring.
You were doing such a good job putting over how boring it was that I was going to let you go on in a boring manner.
Well, yeah.
Well, why don't you keep going, Vince? Then what?
Well, eventually Kane...
Look, here's how this show works, okay? I'm going to cut you off. I always do.
You do?
I do. So you might as well just keep going as long as you can at every possible moment, and I'll probably cut you off before you get through with a lot of stuff.
Okay, Brian, when I pause, it's not so you can jump in. It's because I have nothing more to say. Have you just now figured this out?
Well, no, but the point I'm trying to make is we were just talking about this match, and there was a post-match angle. So you were explaining how boring the match was. I thought you might just keep going to talk about what happened immediately following the match we were just talking about.
Okay.
But you didn't.
No, I didn't.
You just stopped.
Would you like me to do it now?
Yes.
All right. So Kane himself was so bored with the match that he just called an end to the whole thing. He rolled outside and started chucking random chairs into the ring, about 5 or 6 of them, and that was enough for the DQ, by the way. He didn't hit anyone with anything. He didn't even really threaten to. He just tossed chairs in the ring.
Chairs ended up in the ring. That's a pretty damn good reason for a DQ.
If they were consistent with it, it would be fine. But
What about the Floyd Merriweather fight?
I didn't see it.
His
I
father
understand
jumped in the ring.
Well, all I know is there was a ruckus of some sort, and Don King was screaming for a rematch because somebody was on the apron, and he said it should have been DQ then.
Yes, his father.
Yeah.
It's a good thing it wasn't Mark Coleman's father. The men it would have taken to get that man out of the ring.
That's true.
Go on. Oh, no. God damn that fucking thing. Go on. Sorry, everybody.
So, yes, Kane threw in a bunch of chairs, and he threw in the chairs, and the ref called for the DQ, and Big Show stood there on the apron. And Kane climbed into the ring, and he chokeslammed Spirit Squad guy A, which I think was Johnny. And Kane stood there. And then he chokeslammed Spirit Squad guy B, which was Nick or something. And Big Show continued to stand on the apron. So Kane picked up... that was earlier. Never mind. Anyway, the Spirit Squad ran away.
You need someone to take over here.
I remember the spot. But
Come on.
So Big Show came in, and that's going to be horrible. Big Show came in and he started yelling at Kane, saying, "Hey, what's up, man? What's up?" And they had a shoving fight, and eventually they got into a real fight, and Kane grabbed Show by the throat, and Show grabbed Kane by the throat, and Brian and I had the same thought. They're going to do the double chokeslam, and it's going to be great. But they didn't do it.
Has it ever been done?
I witnessed men practicing once in the ICW ring, the old one in Tacoma. It was Blaze Daly and somebody else who were practicing the double chokeslam spot.
They both put their hands around their necks and jumped.
They
and
both
took a
threw
bump
each
at
other
same
into
time.
the air and fell in the backs, yes. Sadly, I don't think it's ever been done on an actual show. But, anywho, Kane eventually chokeslammed Big Show and walked away, and that was it.
That was an incredible recap you just gave me right there. I just like to know that they sped this whole thing up and did it all in one night. They didn't even
That's true.
slowly build it up.
No, they came from out of nowhere.
This
was a 6-month angle done in one night.
They laid it out. They did the turn. They culminated it. The only thing missing was for them to do a match and have Big Show win clean, but maybe we'll get that next week. So
I would assume so.
that was that, kids. And then we had the segment. Vince McMahon was in church. I'm just going to condense this whole thing.
There's a lot to take in here.
Basically, Vince went to church and just mocked everything, like he'd never been there before. Hopefully Linda wasn't watching since they met in church, but... So he's in there, and he's drinking holy water, and he's reading his commandments and that sort of thing, and this and that, and when it was over, all I could think was, if you're a very religious man, say Craig, perhaps you'd be offended by this.
I think a lot of people were probably pissed off by this whole deal.
Really? I don't think so.
Why no? Because it was so wacky?
I think if you were really, really religious, you may have been offended by this. But it was just, to me, it was too wacky to really offend somebody.
I totally get your point.
But at the same time, it was trying too hard to be wacky. So when it was over, you were either greatly offended or you just didn't give a shit.
And you're in the latter, I take it.
I
so
mean,
am I.
to me, I just watched and I was like, you know, it may be offensive and all, but the idea of Vince McMahon in church has so many possibilities. An incredible number of possibilities. And they tried so hard to make this funny that it failed. Last week when Vince made the product of my semen line and screamed about how God is going to be his tag team partner, I laughed and laughed and rewound it and rewound it and rewound it. This week, I don't care if I ever see it again. It was just...
There's nothing close to that great, and the only things that were remotely funny were things they'd done before.
Yeah, I didn't find it offensive, really, because it was just so... I mean, it was trying too... It was one of those things that tried so hard to be offensive that you would almost feel... You know, it would be wrong to be offended. You know what I mean?
No, I totally agree. There's some stuff that... It's kind of like watching Lucha when they do gimmicks like Los Talibanes, where they're just so goofy you can't be offended.
No, that's different. That's different. Because even Los Talibanes, you watch that, and it's so absurd and over the top that you're like, there's something about it. There's something about it where this was not a wacky lucha skit. It
was a bad wacky lucha skit.
This was Katie Vick.
I don't know. I would term this a bad wacky lucha skit.
Katie Vick was particularly appalling to everybody because I think it was something new. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They'd done offensive things before, but Katie Vick took it to a new level. Now they've just done so much stuff that if they would have done this segment when they did Katie Vick, people would have been appalled.
That's fair.
Whereas if they would have switched them around and done Katie Vick today, it would have gotten the same reaction that this is getting.
Yeah.
It just, they tried too hard.
Well, there was one moment at the very end where Vince announced that if he was cutting a promo on God, and he announced if he was lying, then God may strike him down. And Shane, of course, stepped several steps away, and Vince McMahon was not struck down in church, but there was thunder rolling. I'm a heathen. They are teasing the arrival of God.
Wrong, Vince. I don't know what the deal was. There were so many sounds in this show that I don't know if any of them actually meant anything. So
that's true. All I know is that based on our board and based on my own reaction after the show, the McMahons versus Shawn Michaels and God is the only thing at Backlash anyone's really looking forward to.
Yeah, and it's only because they're hoping God does interfere. I'm waiting for the power to go out, like Beware the Dog pay-per-view.
Yeah.
They can't do the whole thing or something like that.
I don't know. Maybe Vince will be hit by lightning. Maybe something, I don't know. Something wacky is going to happen.
I don't know. Or they'll just debut somebody as God and it'll be lame.
Mordecai will come back.
No, I don't think it's going to be Mordecai. No. So anyway, Osama came out to introduce Umaga. That's the last thing he did on the show. They're already wasting Osama, but what the hell can you do? Umaga killed young Colt Cabana. The only thing of any value was the fact that he won with the Asiatic Spike.
Oh, yes.
That was literally a thumbs up.
Everything else, taped thumb up.
Everything else about this just was whatever.
If they're not going to do the claw, the Asiatic Spike is the next best thing.
I'd like to note no Ric Flair this week after they beat him up last week. That was a good one. Great follow-up there, guys. So then we had the Chris Masters Carlito deal, which these men, Dave actually took it best. They bring out the worst in each other. And they came out, no one cared. Nobody knows who's supposed to be the babyface or the heel. They hate both guys. Carlito called his Master Lock stupid. Master said, well, let's see how stupid it is. And they brought a chair in the ring, and Carlito sat down, and Carlito had his apple. And Master's like, well, make him put the apple down. And the ref asked him, and Carlito's like, no. And I'm like, this is two third graders on national TV, and we're supposed to care. So Carlito ended up whacking him over the head with a chair, and then left. I still don't know who's supposed to be the good guy, who's supposed to be the bad guy, why we should. And you know the worst thing about this was they brought up how Carlito had stolen a bunch of wins from Chris Masters about 6 months ago or something, and I'm like, this feud has been built up for 6 months, and this is what we've gotten.
This is the result. This
sucked.
Yeah. I actually had a thought watching this, but it's long gone now.
This...
I have nothing constructive to add.
So, I don't even know... I don't know what to say, except it sucked. Let's just move on.
Yes.
The announcers were talking about Subway. They were eating Subway. It's their product placement, which we'll get into later on in the show. Anyway, the Mickey Maria match, fantastically mistimed. Like, if you want to see how to mistime a match, if you're a woman wrestler in training and want to make it in WWE, watch this one. This was a good bad match. And Mickey won with the Mick kick. I hate this fucking company. And out came Trish, dressed as Mickey, pranced around. She was wearing a thong. That was the only saving grace of this whole deal. And kissed Mickey. Mickey bailed, and it was just weird. I just watched this show, and
this was the weirdest Raw in a long goddamn time.
Even Styles goes, this is the Raw from the Twilight Zone.
Yes.
And I could not have put it any better myself. It was just so weird.
I don't know how this is supposed to make us cheer for either one or hate either one. It's just... apparently they're just going to end up being a couple.
Maybe that's where it's going.
The only thing I can conclude at this point.
You know what's funny is SmackDown set up feuds so much better than Raw. It's very different. SmackDown built up some good stuff. It was a great show till like the last 45 minutes, and they set some good stuff up. Raw's just a bunch of bullshit.
It is. It's
not even fun. It wasn't even fun tonight.
No, it wasn't the worst Raw of all time or anything, but it was just dumb.
Then we had the main event, which sucked. Cena and Hunter versus Edge in a handicap match. They got the heat on Hunter. Think about this.
They meaning Edge.
Yeah, one against two. The one got the heat on the other, and I'm just watching and going, who is...
Don't look at me.
This whole show was hodge. It just... What happened to Raw?
It was every bad idea they've been having and not using, and they used them all in one night.
This was a Vince Russo Raw.
Yes, that is the best way to put it.
In many ways, this was a Vince Russo Raw. And Hunter got the hot tag. I thought Cena was just going to jump off the apron, leave him alone so Edge could pin him. What a fucking geek I was. Should have known better. Instead, of course, Hunter did get laid out by Cena, but then Cena tapped out the jobber here in this feud, Edge. And, yeah, that's that.
Show ended.
This show gets 2 Asiatic thumbs down.
Indeed.
That's all I got to say about that.
Let's move on.
We got Raw to talk about tonight. We have Hogan Knows Best. And that's really it, because I've been having TiVo issues. And somebody tried to explain what my TiVo issues were, and I'm sad to say that I appreciate the help, but that's not the issue. Because my TiVo actually, it is set to record everything, the first run and the replays. And I checked before I left if it was scheduled to record Raw, and it was. And at about 9:15, 9:16, I looked over, and it was not recording. And I thought, what the hell's going on?
Whoa, that's fucked up.
Those were my exact words, actually. Hit record, recorded the rest, and tragically, another weird thing happened this weekend. It did not record my Lucha.
Sad, sad day.
This is unacceptable. So, we don't have Lucha to review this week, which brings sadness to my heart, but we do have 2 shows. We got some shout-outs. We have a bunch of songs. I don't think we'll possibly get to all of them today, but people have been providing songs left and right.
That is great news.
It brings me great joy, yes. So, yeah, let's get going. Should we start with Raw or Hogan Knows Best?
Well, we'll do it in the order we watched them, so Hogan Knows Best.
I think we should start with Raw.
I knew you were going to say that.
Well, Hogan Knows Best was better. Why would we do the good show first and then get miserable talking about Raw?
Let's do Raw then.
Raw was shitty. And this is what I have to tell you about Raw. I had a revelation tonight. I, as noted, did not get to watch the first 15 minutes or so of the show. So I went to our wonderful board and I said, if anybody has the first 15 minutes, can you please upload it for me? So I checked later on. There's about 5, 6, 7 responses to the thread. I thought, great, somebody uploaded it. Instead, it was a number of other people asking other people if they could upload it. And then someone saying, I'll handle the problem for you. Just make sure the TiVo says record all.
Oh.
Like I said, I do appreciate the help, but in no way did that solve the problem. I still have not gotten the first 15 minutes of the show. But the good news is I went to WWE.com, which of course is the official website for World Wrestling Entertainment. WWE. And there was the opening segment.
All is saved.
Available for download. So I clicked on it, and as noted, the segment I missed was 15 minutes long. Vince ranted and raved about God. Shawn Michaels super kicked him. Vince announced he was starting a new religion, McMahonism, which L. Ron Hubbard once said is the fastest way to make a lot of money, is start your own religion.
You don't say.
Shortly thereafter, Scientology was formed. But anyway, so all this happened, super kick, blah, blah, blah. And the video that I saw, which recapped everything, the only thing it was missing was when the fans were chanting boring, and Vince says, oh no, this is not boring, I assure you. That was his comeback. So
a fine comeback it is, too.
The entire thing was 1 minute and 19 seconds long.
I'm happy we missed it.
Well, no, it really hit me that I'll bet most of these opening promos are 1 minute and 19 seconds long, and they're always stretched out to 15 minutes.
Oh, I totally agree.
Sometimes this is good, sometimes this is bad. For example, when Randy Orton goes 15 minutes saying what he could have said in 1 minute 19, I want to kill somebody.
Yeah.
When Christian takes 1 minute 19 to cut a promo that should take at least 10 minutes about how a man tried to kill him, scared his wife, drowned him in his pool, and he gets 1 minute and 19 seconds, that ain't enough. It's a balance, you see.
I was thinking of Raw specifically. And, half the time it starts off with a boring 15-minute promo. And I think condensing those down to 1 minute is just the way to go.
Just the way to go, huh? Yeah, but then what do they fill the other 2 hours with?
Ideally, more wrestling. I don't know.
Would you really have wanted that much more wrestling on this particular show?
Okay, I did not need 10 more minutes of Umaga. No.
We may have gotten that.
Yeah. Okay, you have a point.
But anyway, yeah, that's the whole deal. Is Vince announced he's forming McMahonism. It's a new religion. Had a bunch of shots on the Titantron of himself photoshopped into the Last Supper, the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel and such. Shawn came out of nowhere and super kicked him. And that was the end of the segment, so that's what you missed, kids, all the rest of you that happened to miss the first 15 minutes of the show. And it was all downhill from there. And I know that because that's right when I turned on the show and it blew. Not as bad as last week, but this show sucked. Just nothing to it. It was a boring show, and I think we should just get to it as we get to it. The first thing I saw was Kane and Rob Conway's music, which lasted about a minute, and Kane went after Lillian afterwards, copying the biggest feel of 2006. Big Show came out to make the save, looking like he'd just woken from hibernation. He didn't just wake up from a nap. He had been in a cave hibernating all winter, and he woke up to make the save for Lillian. So Kane and him were having this big argument, and Show wanted to know what's up with May 19th. So, of course, Kane freaked out. I figured this out, by the way. I'll get to that in a minute.
I can't wait.
So Kane freaked out, grabbed him by the throat. They had a choke slam contest again, just like last week. This week, the other man won. Mm-hmm. Parody choke slamming.
Yes.
It's exactly what this was. Show left back to the cave to go back to sleep again, and then Kane sat up and smiled.
End of segment.
End of segment. Nothing to it. But like I said, I have determined what the deal with May 19th is.
And?
That's the day his movie comes out.
And that causes him to freak out. Why?
Because the movie sucks. It's been so obvious from day one.
I see.
It's a horrible, terrible movie, and Kane is constantly reminded that it's actually going to come out in theaters and people are going to have the opportunity to watch it.
And he says, God damn it, they're going to see my crappy movie. I must kill someone.
That's why he's so angry.
Well, that makes as much sense as anything I can come up with.
I can't, can you think of anything better?
I cannot top that.
There you go.
His movie sucks.
That's right. So, any comments on that, Vince?
You covered it. It was nothing.
You know...
You want me to have more searing insight to the Kane versus Rob Conway encounter?
Capital City Kyle made a comment about you on the board and your performance. And he's like, here's the problem. Brian expects Vince to speak as the co-host. But Vince is not the co-host. He's the sidekick. I love Kyle. Kyle was on the show Friday. Kyle's a great man. Jeremy Borash even put him over today. But how the fuck does Kyle know what you are?
Nah.
It's my show. And I say you're the co-host.
I just want to
If I wanted you to be the sidekick, I'd be fine with you sitting there never speaking. Clearly, by me giving you the office to speak, that indicates I figure you're more than a sidekick. You're a co-host. Should I have you open the show to further your co-host duties, or should I just expect you to speak like an actual co-host?
All I have to say is that I stayed out of that thread entirely. I wanted no part of discussing the show.
I also laughed at the... there's a lot of... This is what I love about our board. We've got so many great people on our board. I don't want to... I'm not saying this to bury anybody, because it's not a burial. I just find it amusing that there's so many people on the board that try and analyze our relationship. You ever notice that?
Yeah, matter of fact, I have.
Everybody's trying to figure out how we relate to each other, why each of us behaves in a certain manner, why I yell at you so much, why you never speak. And there's nothing to analyze.
No.
You never speak because 9 times out of 10 you just have nothing to say.
Correct.
And I yell at you because I get mad at you for not having anything to say. What? You don't need to go any deeper than this. This is not Freud.
No.
You slam the mic down on the thing here and I get upset.
That happened once.
But the point is, what's there to analyze about that?
I don't know.
Is someone going to go back and go, somebody must have taken Brian's schlong and pounded it on a desk when he was a child or something like that, and it still annoys him to this day.
It wasn't me.
I assure you that didn't happen, and it wasn't Vince even if it did. But the point is, I get mad, and Vince acts stupid, and it makes me mad. At least that's the way I look at it.
And I often have nothing to say.
And if people don't want to look at it and analyze it, that's totally fine. But It's Occam's razor. The most simple explanation is usually the one. That's the explanation.
Yeah.
You don't need to go into detail about anything because I really don't think you're going to figure anything out. Because believe me, Vince and I have analyzed all of this ourselves many times. I don't think there's any.
It never takes that long.
There's no deep-seated psychological or emotional nothing to this. It's just what it is.
There's no symbolism. There's no
nothing.
Yeah.
Vince has awkward pauses because he's a dingbat. There's
awkward pauses because I'm bad at radio.
Oh my gosh. So anyway, Coach hit the ring to do ring announcing. This was just another stupid Raw thing. Coach Lillian gets taken away, so Coach says, "Well, she's gone. I'm just going to do ring announcing for the rest of the show, and I'm going to do commentary as well." So he does ring announcing for this match, and then never again.
He was out there. He did Mickey James.
Did he?
Yeah.
I saw another man out there. There was another man doing. Maybe I'm just not.
Another man in the ring, but Coach was still doing the ring announcing.
Very good chance I'm just not paying attention. It happens. I get bored and I just don't care. I start doing other stuff. You can't expect a man just because it's his job to pay this much attention.
Not to this show.
Not to a show like this. Hogan knows best. I was glued to the screen the entire time. So anyway, the next match was Shelton Benjamin versus a mystery opponent. The tips were that RVD got to choose a match for Shelton, an opponent, and if Shelton won, RVD's Money in the Bank shot was going to be on the line at the pay-per-view, and if Shelton lost, the Intercontinental title would be on the line instead.
That's what they said.
That's a lot of paying attention I did, I should just note right there.
Yeah.
Normally I would have no idea why they had this match and the board would yell at me, but so that was the plan here, and the mystery opponent ended up being, in fact, Charlie Haas.
Mm-hmm.
He was back. He was different body, looked completely different physically, timing was way off. It wasn't horrible or anything like that, but this was not his best performance. Crowd didn't care after they realized who it was. They may have cared for a moment. It was an okay match. Haas's punches are atrocious. So, of course, Joey Styles immediately said, "Nice right hands," much like he did with young Ashley several weeks back. Both Styles and Lawler and Coach, actually all of them, were dropping references to Mama. Mm-hmm. I figured she was gone forever. So maybe they're planning on bringing her back. I have no idea. But anyway, Charlie Haas won with a jackknife cradle. And the only other thing of any note in this match was Shelton went for a Rolling Thunder. And as he set up for it, I thought, this is a horrible idea. Because Shelton is a fantastic athlete, and this move is going to look so good, and RVD's is going to just look like shit in comparison. So he does the move, and it's the worst Rolling Thunder I've ever seen. And then that made me even more mad. Because I was like, is this move that hard? You do a forward roll, you jump up in the air and do a flip. You don't have to do a full flip. You just do a half a flip and land on a dude with your back.
Yeah.
You don't protect him in any way, you just crush him. As Ric Flair will testify. And that's what he did, and it was horrible.
He had to break it down in about 3 different motions.
How could an athlete this good do a move that bad? Unless that was the whole idea. In which case, he's a far better athlete than I gave him credit for.
He wanted to make RVD look good.
Being able to screw that move up is actually much harder than actually executing it properly, in my opinion. You took a breath in as if you were about to speak.
I was just going to say that I was watching this match and thinking, wow, this crowd is dead. This show's going to be awful. And it turns out they just didn't care about Charlie Haas at all because they were loud and rowdy for everything else. They just didn't give a crap about him.
There was no heat all show except for the main event. But it was all because of Cena, and we'll talk about that in a moment. Alejandro Osama Rodriguez Alvarez, whatever. What is his real name? Armando Alejandro
Estrada.
Estevez?
Estrada.
Whatever.
That was the worst.
Osama. Why don't you do some Sheik-y while you're at it?
Nah.
Let's actually just do one for me, okay? I'll play a Sheik drop, and I want you to recreate it.
I'll see what I can do.
Hold on a minute. You have to clear your throat for this?
I do. I don't want to look bad.
Let's see. Which Sheik-y one? I don't want to do one that's too... okay, here we go. This is a good one.
Then Ric Flair and that Hollywood blonde jabroni Hulk Hogan. Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man. Ah! Oh!
I do not have the energy to do that spit.
You don't have to do the spit because that blew my ears out. Yeah. But
Ric Flair and that Hollywood blonde jabroni Hulk Hogan.
Keep going. Keep going.
What does he say? Macho Man. This show sucks.
I thought that would add a little old country to that Sheiky impersonation right
This show
there.
has gone off a cliff.
That was a good one, dude.
All right.
Break his back, make him humble, and then fuck his ass.
I'm not going to ask you to do that one. Don't insult the Sheik by trying to recreate that one. So, where were we? Oh, Osama Alejandro Estevez came out and met with Vince and said he had recently been converted to McMahonism. And in the good name of this religion, he wanted to make a special donation. He donated Umaga.
That sucks.
That was his donation.
Yes.
He should have tried to put Umaga in a plate, a collection plate.
Yes.
And brought him in like on a wheelbarrow or something like that. So he said he'd give him to Vince for a match with Shawn later, and Vince said, oh, okay, Shawn versus Umaga later. So that's what we had to look forward to. That was the big build for later. Oh, it was next. That was the big... They didn't want people to think about it. They just wanted to get the match out of the way once it was announced. So Shawn faced Umaga, and since in the however long we've been doing this show, about 18 minutes, you've said 18 words, coincidentally, I'm going to let you review the Umaga-Shawn Michaels match.
Well, Umaga began to beat up Shawn Michaels and hit 495 moves in a row, and no one cared. And I asked Brian, is this the worst Shawn Michaels match there's ever been? And he didn't answer, so I took that as a yes.
Actually, it was a no.
It was definitely not by the end, because he made his comeback and everyone was going crazy still, and they were all on their feet and cheering, so even his bad matches are good. But
the reason I said no was I didn't think it was a bad match. It was just nothing happened.
it was boring.
There was nothing to it whatsoever. It wasn't like Umaga messed up spots, because he didn't have any spots to mess up. He just did a bunch of headbutts and clotheslines and stomps and such. It wasn't like Shawn screwed anything up. It was just a nothing match. I would consider a bad match a match where everything goes wrong.
I consider it, well, that's definitely a bad match. I'm not arguing with that, but a boring match is also bad.
This was definitely boring.
Okay.
I will give you that. But I can't find most Shawn Michaels matches boring, because I always just watch how he's going to have a match with everybody.
Yeah.
So watching him try to have a match with Umaga intrigued me. Thus, I could not call it a totally boring match from my perspective. It just nothing happened in the match. It's just a match. But anyway, what happened? Go on.
What did happen? Vince came out, Armando got involved, and eventually Umaga was just disqualified for excessive violence.
No, he shoved the ref twice.
Well, wouldn't you call that excessive?
Shoving the ref once is excessive.
Well, then twice is even excessive.
Well, Shawn was in the Tree of Woe, and Umaga was excessively beating him.
Yeah.
But that was not the DQ. The DQ was when the ref said, quit beating him excessively, and so Umaga shoved him down twice.
The point is Umaga was disqualified.
That's right.
He continued to beat up Shawn. He brandished the Asiatic spike, and tragically he did not put the hold on. He just jammed it into Shawn's throat. At which point Vince said,
I would like to cut you off very quickly to note that Shawn Michaels, and this is another reason I cannot call this a bad match, Shawn Michaels took the best bump of all time for a thumb.
Yeah.
There will never be a better one, and there never has been a better one. But go on.
So Vince McMahon called off Armando and Umaga and said, leave, I will take care of this now.
Get the hell out of my ring.
Get the hell out of my ring. And he tied Shawn up in the ropes, and Shawn was helpless, and Vince went outside the ring to retrieve a chair, and he folded up the chair, and he went to the ring, and there was an explosion.
Yeah.
There's a burst of pyro from the ring post, which Jerry Lawler would later call an unnatural explosion.
As opposed to a natural. The post did not just naturally explode. There was not natural gas in the post or anything like that.
There was no spontaneous combustion in this ring. So Vince was startled. He tried.
Actually, hold on a second. Now that I think about it, there could have been a natural explosion. A lightning bolt could have struck the post. Lightning is a force of nature.
Were this in, say, Wembley Stadium or any other outdoor venue, I would say that's possible.
Perhaps it was St. Elmo's fire.
I'm not familiar with that.
Go on.
So
That's impossible. It was a song in the 80s.
Okay, so you think this guy came in singing and that saw Vince McMahon into the ring?
No, I just thought you'd never.
I know the song. I know there was a movie. I just never saw it.
Okay, well,
I understand there's a weather phenomenon called St. Elmo's Fire. I just don't know really what it is.
It may have actually invaded wherever they were at. Now that I think about it, perhaps St. Elmo's Fire knocked Vince on his ass.
Well, it is a good song.
I wish I had that song here somewhere.
It's a damn fine song.
Here's the difference between you and me.
There are many.
There are many. When I was young, well, when would that song have came out? 1984, maybe?
Around there.
I would have been 9. At about 8, 9 years old, I did like that song. I was like, this is a great song, St. Elmo's Fire. Then after about 11, I didn't need to ever hear that song again. Whereas if St. Elmo's Fire came on the radio, you would crank that thing up. You'd probably slow down and recline your seat back and just you'd put your arm out the window and just sort of cruise down the street with St. Elmo's Fire playing. Yeah?
Entirely likely.
Okay, well, go on. So St. Elmo's Fire knocked Vince on his ass.
Yeah, so Vince was
Twice.
Well, he was slowed but not stopped as he found another way to get into the ring, and there was a second explosion that knocked him on his ass again. So he gave up, and he retreated up the ramp, and he got back all the way to the entranceway and had a change of heart and was going to give it one last try when there was another big explosion, and now there was a wall of fire.
That's right.
Between Vince and the ring. So
Christ made the save.
Yes, God himself did a run in and made the save, and so Vince finally gave up and retreated. And the only thing I was disappointed in, God made the run in, and we still did not get to hear his entrance music.
You know what else we didn't get to hear is a promo from God. I know Raw.
The show's going to suck now, but at least that was entertaining.
At least we got one good thing out of the whole deal.
Yeah.
Raw was in London, as some of you are aware. It was taped in advance. Open up with Edge and Lita coming out for the now usual 20-minute boring promo with all three men that ends and you have less desire than ever to see them actually have a match. It's happened ever since WrestleMania.
Yeah.
It is the new booking for a three-way. You have the men cut promos every week that don't necessarily make you want to see them fight, and then they keep fighting. They actually had three-ways. You could say, well, they were handicap matches, but all the handicap matches broke down into a three-way.
Yeah.
So really, we've seen the main event of the pay-per-view 3 times. All 3 men have been pinned, and now the idea is we must pay on Sunday to see which guy sucks the most, and I guess which guy sucks the least.
That is how it... Yeah, it's the new math. We don't understand it. We've talked about it before. And, I have no interest in that match at all whatsoever.
Edge came out.
I'm even mildly curious to see who's going to face Rob at the ECW show.
Well, here's the deal. I was thinking about this in the show. We'll get into it in a minute, but they had a match with Rob Van Dam and Shelton Benjamin in it. And Rob pinned Shelton Benjamin the week before they're going to have a match on the pay-per-view.
That occurred to me, too.
So, it's obviously if Rob Van Dam loses the title shot, he'll win it back. It's going to be some sort of wacky swerve. But I would not be surprised in the least if Shelton Benjamin won the title match and the Money in the Bank briefcase on Sunday. It would be sort of odd. It makes no sense for Rob Van Dam to beat him on this show.
And then beat him again on Sunday. Well, the only thing I can think of is if they actually thought Rob would be the guy, but clearly they don't, or they would have done this 3 years ago.
Anyway, Edge came out and he was ranting and raving about this and that. Lita was there. Hunter came out. They bantered back and forth as they always do. And it was boring. I don't even know. I mean, Hunter made a bunch of penis jokes and such, and this, that, and the other thing. It was like a promo you'd hear 2 8th graders cutting on each other.
Yeah.
And then finally John Cena came out, and thankfully he didn't speak. I guess
it would have been bad.
They were 14 minutes into the segment, and they didn't want to prolong it too much. So Cena started brawling with Hunter, got into a big dealia bob, and out came the Spirit Squad. They had a message from Mr. McMahon. The message was that tonight it was going to be 5-on-3, the Spirit Squad versus Cena, Hunter, and Edge. And I thought, well, I guess Vince ain't going to be on the show. How wrong I was. I don't know why he didn't just come out and announce it, but
I don't either.
That was the main event, and so we just saw them brawl, and then the big plug for the end of the show was they were going to all be a team.
Mm-hmm.
It's very odd.
I don't get it. I don't understand any of it, really.
It was not a segment that made you want to wait 2 hours to see what the hell was going to happen.
Absolutely
At least
not.
In my opinion there. So, that was that. Very exciting. Then we had Matt Striker.
No, it wasn't. Don't lie.
Matt Striker, Shelton, Chris Masters versus Carlito, Charlie Haas, Rob Van Dam. Carlito is, I guess, officially a babyface. They did this weird thing where he was on the babyface team. Everybody cheered for him. And then when I think Rob Van Dam went to tag, he guided Rob Van Dam's hand to Charlie Haas.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't want to get in the ring. So that's odd.
Well, it's the kind of thing where they don't want to. They recognize the fans have gotten into him. They've gotten into the way he acts as a heel, so I think they're going to try not changing it. He's still going to be
He's still going to be an asshole.
He's still going to be an asshole. Yes.
Yeah, we'll see about that one. But anyway, Charlie Haas made his big wacky comeback. Rob Van Dam did a flip dive, and like I said, Rob pinned Shelton.
Clean with his finisher.
Just cleaned.
Yeah.
Actually, the best part of this match was when Rob Van Dam tagged in. Because they said it was a blind tag. Because Charlie Haas was running the ropes, and Rob Van Dam tagged him. And Joey Styles is going, blind tag, this, that, and the other thing. And I thought, he's in the middle of the apron.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's closer to the other corner, the neutral corner, than his own.
He wasn't even holding the rope.
No.
He wasn't even in the corner. He was 3/4 across the ring in the other corner, and he tagged in, and this was legal.
Well,
So apparently this was lucha rules or something of that nature, right?
Sure. The funniest part of all that is it was in the middle of a big, giant six-way schmoz, and I had no idea who was legal anyway. Rob could have just come in and pinned somebody. I wouldn't have noticed.
I don't know if Vampiro would be the best. I would think that this would apply to him. But I'll bet that if you asked Vampiro, who is one of the biggest stars in the history of Lucha Libre, he was the Steve Austin of Mexico in the early 90s. And really, the last year or so, when AAA got hot again, he was sort of almost at that level again. Just an enormous, gigantic star.
He's had a lot of success in Mexico.
Very, very successful in the lucha style.
Done very well for himself.
I'll bet if you asked him to explain to you the rules of lucha tag matches, he would be absolutely unable to do so.
I think his response would include the word fuck a lot and end in I don't know.
In fact, I am now determined to get him on the show and ask him that question. Because I can almost guarantee you that he would not know. And he would not lie either.
And he's far from the only one.
Yes. Years back when he was on Observer Live, he was talking about how he never learned how to take a flat back bump.
Yes.
He was a wrestler for years. And he finally got brought into WCW where he had to work at American Style. And he didn't know how to take a flat back bump. And he was happy admitting this, too. This was not like it was some secret or something he was ashamed of. He was just, that's just how it is.
5 years later, I still can't wrap my mind around that.
No, and many Americans that go to Mexico, we could ask Buddy Wayne about it. Mm-hmm. You get in the ring with a bunch of luchadors, and you just sort of do shit.
Yeah.
Stuff happens, you get led along, and you don't understand the rules, when you can get in, when you can get out. I think people are surprised to hear such a thing, but that's how it works in Mexico.
Yeah, there's... In theory, if the rules to the matches were actually enforced, they're very complicated and very rigid, but they never follow them.
No.
There's just a bunch of stuff happening.
And
in the end, it all works and everyone's happy.
This was a good example of that, with Rob just randomly tagging in from a totally random spot in the...
They could have high-fived on the ramp. It would have been just as logical.
Sure, exactly. So then we had an interview with Vince backstage. TCS asked him about the exploding... I get so angry when that goddamn thing goes off like that. I'm just going to... hold on a minute here.
I'll just chill.
The utmost in professionalism. That was so annoying. So anyway, Vince was doing an interview with Todd Grisham, and Todd wanted to know about the exploding post last week, the Lord's intervention. And Vince said it was not the Lord. The Pyro Man screwed up.
Bad fuses, he said.
Bad fuses. So he apologized to me, and then I fired him.
Mm-hmm.
That was his explanation. And he basically said that he had it on good authority that the Lord was not in the building tonight. So Shane showed up, and he swore to God that Sean would not be walking out on his own power this evening. Keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see whose side God is on this evening. Kane and Big Show had a meeting backstage. Show said they were meeting at Backlash, but as his friend.
There it is again.
Keep in mind, they beat the hell out of each other last week.
They've been exchanging chokeslams for weeks now.
They're still friends.
Mm-hmm.
Vince, let me tell you something. If I didn't want to hear if you didn't want to hear a certain date mentioned, and I mentioned the date, and you assaulted me, you would not be in Club Chico next week.
Right.
But Big Show is a more forgiving man. They're still friends, despite this giant fight and breakup.
He's a jolly giant.
He is jolly. So, Kane said, don't say the date, May 19th. So, of course, Big Show said it, and then Kane shot on him. He went for the eye.
He did.
He went for the eye like Haku.
Mm-hmm.
And Show was screaming about his eyeball, and they broke them all up. So apparently, Big Show may have to wear an eye patch.
Maybe he'll be the big pirate.
I'm trying to think of how they could do this, because remember when they broke Big Show's hand, and he came out with a cast the size of the Great Pyramid, and it was used as a weapon?
I picture him having a full head mask cover his entire face, and then a hole cut over his good eye.
I was thinking like he'd have a eye patch with a needle on it or something, or a spike, so that if he headbutted his opponent, it would.
Oh yes,
something of that nature. But so they're gonna have a match on Sunday for the 0 of you that care. I was going to say the 4, but I realized even that was enormous. So anyway, it was time for the Divas Bikini Contest. It was Tori Wilson, Candice, Maria, and I wrote Candice twice, but it's actually Victoria. They all came out, and this was a wellness policy contest. I don't know. Maria always looks the same.
Yeah, I was going to say she's fine. Nothing wrong with her.
Victoria looks more like a woman than she ever has.
Okay.
She looks more like a woman than she ever has.
She's smaller.
She's smooth, and she looks like a woman now.
Okay.
Before, she looked like she could beat you up.
Oh, she still could.
She still could. But before, she looked like
But now I think I could go 2 rounds with her before getting tapping out.
No, hell no. This is ridiculous.
Before it would be a minute or 2.
Anyway, and then Candice, is that her name? Candice?
Candice Michelle?
Candice Michelle? I was thinking Candice Marie. Is that another wacky?
No, you just made that up.
Candice Michelle, anyway. She had the best tan.
She had the best tan, and implants are not covered in the wellness policy.
No, they're not.
They're still just fine.
And Tori Wilson looked fine from the neck down.
Mm-hmm.
And she looked very old from the neck up.
There's
God bless Tori Wilson, but it's been a rough. It's rough
decade.
It's rough having to look like that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And she's now paying the price as she gets a little older. Anyway, Maria won, without question.
No,
there's
no debate.
No heterosexual male or female, in fact, on this earth could argue otherwise, except Coach. Coach decided that Candice won. So everybody left, and they did a quick shot of Tori's face, and she had that look on her face like... It was a look on her face that I don't think she's that good an actor. I know she's a horrible actor.
Oh, we've seen her act.
We've seen her act.
She may be the worst ever.
She can't be that good. Mm-hmm. This was a look on her face like, fuck you all.
Yeah.
Like she knows, I'm done. This is it.
Whatever.
I'm coming back from the UK, and that's, it'll be back to Muscle and Fitness or something like that. But so anyway, Coach said he wanted to make out with Candice.
That was her prize.
That was her prize.
That, for winning the bikini contest, the winner got to make out with Coach.
Yeah. Out came
Viscera.
Big Vis. The love machine. The world's biggest love machine. He's back, and he's a love machine again. And he actually he threatened to humble the Coach, actually.
Break his back, make him humble, and then fuck his ass.
But he didn't, because they had to censor out the humbling.
The humbling is no longer allowed on USA Network, apparently.
No, everything else on this show is totally fine, but you can't humble the Coach.
If you think about it, that makes sense.
When you really think about what Viscera does, he humbles them.
Oh, he does.
Exactly as Iron Sheik threatened to do.
That soundbite fits exactly what he does. He threw Coach up on a Samoan drop.
Yep.
Then he humbled him.
That's right. So that was the end of that little segment there. And then we had actually watched Viscera and Candice kiss.
Mm-hmm.
They swapped slobber.
On
so disgusting.
The giant television screen.
This was allowed to air, but the anal assault on the Coach was considered too
This
risque.
may have been more obscene than that, actually.
This was way more obscene. I will say that.
So when this is all said and done, we had lost 50 minutes of our lives, and I still don't know what the point of any of it was.
The point was they had nothing to do. They wanted to get the women on there before they fired half of them.
I guess so. Okay.
So then we had Shane versus Sean.
For the God and Jesus and Mr. McMahon.
Mr. McMahon was out there, in fact. He came out there to do ring introductions. He announced Shane as his only begotten son, the product of his omnipotent semen, Shane McMahon, Brandon.
Shane Brandon McMahon.
That was later, actually, he mentioned the Brandon name. I figured out Sunday, by the way.
Just now?
I figured out actually when we were on the way to Pinnacle, when I was in the car with Craig. Our buddy Craig is a very pious man. He hates that word pious, but I mean it in a good way, not a bad way. Craig only knows one definition, which is bad. Craig, when Craig hears pious, he thinks like a man
Holier than thou.
Yes. And I don't picture pious. I just picture pious as a man, a church-going man, a good man. So I'm going to continue to call Craig pious. I don't really care what he thinks.
Or what the dictionary says.
But anyway, it doesn't say that in the dictionary.
Oh, I don't know.
You want me to look it up?
I took Craig's word for it.
Well, I don't take anyone's word for it. We're going to... Hold on.
Do you have it on your desk?
No, it's a thesaurus.
Oh.
The magic of the internet is I can type in define pious, and
it will.
Having or showing or expressing reverence for a deity.
Okay, that's Craig.
Okay, yeah, and that's not a bad thing.
Not at all.
All right, so Craig, shut up. Anyway, we were on the way to Pinnacle, and I was sitting there and we were talking about God, and it suddenly hit me what's going to happen on the show. Sean's going to come out. Vince and Shane obviously will come out first. Then they're going to play Shawn Michaels music. He's going to come out. He's going to get in the ring. And then the lights are going to go out, and they're going to play God's theme song.
Which I can't wait to hear.
I haven't figured it out yet.
I don't know. I have no idea what it's going to be.
It may be that Lightning Hopkins song that we played at the beginning of this,
entirely possible.
This show. What could God's song be? If we had to choose a song for God, I would choose this.
Brokeback Mountain, the new film from Ang Lee.
Boy, oh boy, that Chris Masters would make one awesome Brokeback Mountain cowboy.
I disagree with
the
your
thought of
selection.
actually going all the way with Chris Masters had not crossed my mind.
I'm not saying they should.
Chris Masters looks great. Look at him. He's a big jacked up freak.
Holy hot damn, Chris Masters is a fag.
Never once floated across
and
my
meanwhile, the
radar.
announcers are going,
I'm sure someone backstage is
where's
going,
God?
Where the fuck ain't this guy getting over? He's got all the tools.
I don't see God.
That'd be good.
And he said, okay, now let me try it on you. And I said, sure.
Yeah.
It really gets me emotional.
So I got down on all fours.
I'm gonna get down on my knees, dude.
So now I'm there on my knees and one arm.
You know, it might excite him a little bit, but
300-pound man to hover over you.
I single-handedly brought Vince to his knees. The masterpiece has been humbled.
Good God Almighty. You know,
I don't see the Lord making his entrance to that song.
people listening to this show for the first time must wonder why every song we play is gay. I blame our board.
Well,
I think they're fixated on this.
all I know is that every song we
theme.
play was created by the members of the board.
That's right. We did not create any of these songs.
No.
These are the miscreants on our message board that have.
Take it up with them.
So anyway, God's going to come out to, for example, that song, and perhaps. Anyway, God's not going to come. I'm going to play the song, and there's not going to be any God. I got distracted. I was looking at another drop. Play God's music, it doesn't come out. Sean's alone. Announcers are like, my God, where's God?
God is no-showed.
Where's God at?
God was double booked.
Vince goes, ha, no God. So the bell rings, and of course Sean runs wild and such for 5 minutes or so. Gets posted. Shane starts working over his back. Tags in Vince. Vince works over Sean. Sean gets a few comebacks, that sort of thing. They keep cutting him off. And finally, in the middle of the ring, Sean gets on his knees and screams, God, why hast thou forsaken me? And that is when lightning will strike Vince McMahon.
The end?
I don't know what happens at that point.
Okay, well, it makes sense.
I made that suggestion, and Craig was appalled. He's like, they could never stoop to that low. Those, of course, being Christ's words on the cross. And I was like, have you not been watching the TV?
For the past 6 months?
These men will stoop. I guarantee they have been. Vince has been using a lot of biblical terms, phrases, and such. I guarantee he's going to try and talk Sean into saying that line. I really don't think Sean's going to do it, but I just have this feeling. Because sometimes I really think that I can think like Vince. It's a horrible
That's
horrible
a terrifying
thing.
thought.
Terrifying thought.
Stop it.
9 times out of 10, it's impossible for any human being to think like Vince. But every now and then I think that I can I can get into his brain.
You think you know how he works.
I think he's going to try and get Sean to say that one. So
Well, good luck with that.
we shall see. But anyway, him and Shane had a match here, and it was a match.
It was Shane versus Sean.
Shane
We
is
just
like
saw it a month ago.
Shane is the backyard wrestler, son of the owner who gets to do everybody's moves.
That is the end of it right there. You've summed up the career of Shane McMahon.
That's the whole thing.
The career of Shane Brandon McMahon.
Everybody talks about how Shane's a great worker. Shane's better in the ring than he has any right to be.
Yeah.
But he is allowed to do everything that nobody else is allowed to do. He gets to use anybody's moves that he wants.
Mm-hmm.
He gets to work with the best workers. Yeah, Shane's great. He had great matches with Kurt Angle and fucking Shawn Michaels.
Woo!
Woohoo! Yeah, he really... Well, to be fair, he also had a great match with Test, which I did not think was humanly possible. But it was...
Although Pete Gas was involved.
Pete Gas was involved. You have a point there. But so they had a match. It was whatever. And I don't think this one... None of these matches on the show had a finish. They ended up...
No, I guess it didn't.
Sean went for the super kick. Vince pulled him outside. Sean beat him up, put him on the table, went up top for a flying elbow, and Shane cut him off. Vince hit him with the ring bell. They put Sean on the table. Then Shane came off the post with the flying elbow, killed Sean. This actually was proof God was in the building because no one did die. They were all fine.
That's true.
And afterwards, Vince did a sermon. He said, this is a direct quote, by the way, God has abandoned you. God this Sunday will be a chicken. That was very
didn't go
bad
quite
timing.
as well as you wanted it to.
No, it didn't. Let me just try that one more time. God has abandoned you. God this Sunday will be a chicken. A chicken, Vince.
That's what the man said.
So then there were these people in the front row chanting, "We want God."
Oh, yes.
We want God.
That was, by the way, the highlight of the show. The "We Want God" chant.
Yes. Vince said, God will not be at your side this Sunday at Backlash, and as far as your chances of winning against my son and me, you and God have no chance in hell. Praise be the name of Shane Brandon McMahon. Praise be the name of Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Hallelujah, hallelujah, and amen. And the lights dimmed.
A spotlight showing on
There
them.
was a spotlight on Vince and Sean's broken body. And that was your ticket-selling promo for the pay-per-view. God ain't going to show up. He's going to be a chicken.
I don't know.
Maybe God will be a chicken.
Maybe God will be in the chicken suit that William Regal had.
Well, he can assume any shape. What if a chicken...
He's God.
What if a chicken gets involved in the main event?
We'll know that God was indeed a chicken.
I don't know. I don't know. Bunch of see no evil bullshit aired. Cena met with Edge. Said Sunday he was going to do whatever he could do to win the title. Tonight it was going to be a different story. He said if anyone screwed up, they might not make it to Backlash. Yeah. The Spirit Squad might prevent someone from making it to Backlash. That's a legitimate fear on Edge's part. So Cena said, fine, but he knew Edge was a snake, and if he tried anything tonight, he was going to go down on Edge quicker than his girlfriend. Or Edge was going to go down quicker than his girlfriend. I don't remember the fucking line. It was goofy.
It was lame and boring.
Seventh graders are writing the show.
The show was so bad.
Umaga came out next. Face Steve Lewington.
Yay!
Steve Lewington is potentially the future tag team partner of Harry Boy Smith, Davey Boy Smith's son, who is signed with WWE and will be debuting in May. And Steve Lewington, when I heard this, I could not believe it. But this is from somebody that would know. They said Steve Lewington had never even seen the Dynamite Kid.
I do find that impossible to believe. Well, there it is.
I don't know what to say. But anyway, Steve Lewington came out. Perhaps the fans knew this as well because he had the Union Jack on his ass and no one cared. In fact, they appeared to be chanting Umaga.
Yeah.
So I don't know what young Steve Lewington did, but he pissed off all of the UK. Umaga defeated him with the Asiatic Spike, and then Ric Flair hit the ring and beat up Umaga. That is the weirdest feud of all times.
Well, besides the fact that it's the Nature Boy against Umaga, which is weird in and of itself, I like that Nature Boy, after getting,
Go on.
as I was trying to say, Nature Boy, after being beat up on live TV a week or two ago, flew to London to get his revenge.
He did.
He was not part of the show. They did in storyline. They did not pay his ticket out there.
No.
He booked a flight to London.
He flew in to take on the Savage.
Yeah. And he chased him away, so I guess it was worth it.
I like how, like, 3 weeks ago, it was Ric Flair on a quest for the 17th title, and now he's facing Umaga.
You're the only one who likes that.
I don't like it.
Oh.
What are you talking about?
You said I like.
I was being sarcastic.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to ruin the show again. Don't get mad at me. Come on, let's move on. I wish I was a monkey.
You like how that drop even has me sighing in the background?
I never noticed that before.
Let me play that again. Listen in the background.
I wish I was a monkey.
That's the beginning of me doing a huge sigh because you've failed me yet again.
I wish I was Charlie Manson.
Brian, I'm trying to lose weight.
I'm a heathen.
Any other secrets you'd like to tell now on this show?
I'm good.
Mickey James came out. She was a brunette again, thank God. Speaking of God. Cut a promo that was annoying by design and very successful in that way. Out came Trish still doing the Mickey deal. It was annoying when she came out dancing around. This whole thing sort of annoys me.
Oh, God, yes.
And then she started... This wasn't even 7th grade.
No, this is kindergarten.
Grade. This was my nephews Cliff and Carlos would do this. They did the mirror spot.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
When Mickey she would take...
She would...
And then Trish...
Yeah, just like that.
And if you think this radio sucks, it also sucked on TV.
It sucked so much more on television.
And it led to them fighting.
Oh, my God. This is... what I was thinking during this was, I've never seen a feud that was so great building up to the first match and so...
fall apart so quickly.
Absolutely horrible building up to the rematch.
I couldn't... Off the top of my head, I can't think of one.
Just
lame.
Horrifying. So then we had the main event. It was Edge, Cena, and Hunter against the Spirit Squad. A lot of fuck you, Cena chants, that sort of thing. Hunter was a huge babyface.
They loved him.
They loved Hunter. They liked Edge sometimes, on and off. Hated Cena, no matter what
passionately.
he did. No matter what he did. There's something I can't hate. I love the Spirit Squad. I wouldn't even go so far as to say I can't hate them. I love them. There are 5 guys that got stuck with what should have been the shittiest gimmick imaginable, and what is up with Robin Williams' hair?
It's red.
Wow.
I was ready to make fun of Jerry Lawler on the show for plugging Just for Men. And now I'm looking in the background, and Robin Williams is on Jay Leno's show with the worst red dye job I've ever seen. Is he playing Ronald McDonald?
I was just going to say, he must be doing...
It must be for a film.
Like, he cannot think that looks good.
Wow.
It looks like a black and white film colorized red.
It really does. Like, it's a colorized version of... I don't know what he
I can't look at that anymore. It's too disturbing.
It's distressing. Anyway, broke down into a 7-way as Edge stood on the apron. I didn't understand the end. Edge bailed.
Never made sense.
Hunter and Cena got in the ring, and they were both setting up for their finisher. Hunter was setting up for the pedigree. Cena was setting up for the FU. They looked at each other like, let's do it. They hit the move. They were victorious together. Edge walked up the ramp, and then Hunter and Cena looked at each other and just started to fight. They didn't even pin the Spirit Squad.
No, they didn't bother to win the match that they all said was so important to win.
No, they didn't pin them. They just started to fight. And Edge stood on the ramp and cackled as they had just a total schoolyard brawl. And then all of a sudden it just faded out, and that was the end of the show.
And that was the go-home show for Backlash.
This was a 2 thumbs down final show leading into a big pay-per-view.
It's at least 4 thumbs down, because you're giving 2 and I'm giving 2, and